All right. Sorry for the slight technical issue. I believe my computer froze for a little bit, so we're back up now. So what were you saying? What was the last bit?
I think we'll move on to Adelaide, and we'll talk about what the second half of week one looks like, because we're so excited. Adelaide won. There are two Adelaides, by the way. This is Adelaide 1 we're talking about. So
Adelaide 1.
Adelaide 2. But
can you come up with a better name for a tournament than Adelaide 1 and Adelaide 2? No wonder they're 250s.
Can they combine them and make it a 500? Anyway, so top halves, we got Djokovic, Shapovalov in the top quarter. That's one where I'm going to look to hit. Probably, we're going to have to see the line. I'm imagining I'll probably end up staying away. But if I can get Shapovalov at anything under +4, or if I can get Djokovic at anything under -4, I would take that. But I imagine that's probably not what we're going to see. But that's kind of that'll be a hyped top quarter. It's probably the most hyped top quarter. I don't think it's a particularly interesting matchup. I think it's a really bad matchup for Shap.
Really? I think otherwise, actually. I think it's a guy that can trouble Novak if he's firing in all cylinders.
I just don't see shit. Like, based on what we've seen we know that we know Djokovic will get balls back. We know Djokovic is going to try to make the court small for, he's going to keep his side of the court small. I agree that Shap could, at his best, I guess he can overpower him, but I'm worried about anybody that can get a lot of balls back versus Shapovalov right now.
Right now, that's probably the valid concern. If he's playing well, the fact that this is a quarter of a 250 kind of would entice me to not pick Shop on the money line, but go take the plus the games. I want to see the line. I don't think the line is quite out, as both matches have just finished, but I want to see the line before I.
My bet is that he's going to hit this line at +4.5. Or it's going to be Shapovalov +4.5, and I'll probably just stay away.
You think it's going to be that high? I think, yeah, that's
my experience. I don't know. I feel like, if Djokovic is giving 6.5 to a guy like Hallis, unless there's a lot of concern from and this is given how he did against Le Chien, 3-2. I think the line will stay high. I think it'll be 4.5. Yeah. We'll see. Next quarter there is Medvedev, Khachanov. I think this is a really interesting one. And I'm going to be tempted to take Khachanov here. I think you're going to be able to get positive. I think you'll be able to get positive, some good odds on Khachanov here. We'll have to see what the line looks like. It may already be out.
The line is already out. I'm actually looking at it right now. Medvedev has a 2-1 head-to-head. Their last meeting was a 6-1, 7-6 win for Medvedev in Montreal. Khachanov did beat Gedem once in 2018, but those matches were a long time ago, so they haven't played for quite a while.
What's the line there? What's the money line in the spread?
Let me see. Line. So Khachanov is +300, Medvedev is -425. And the spread, what's your guess?
My guess is going to be that it's like it might be as high as 4.
It's 4.5.
Yeah,
well, actually, you get plus money at -4.5, so it's -4. So yeah, +115, -4.5.
Yeah. I like Khachanov, and I might sprinkle some money line here. I think Sonego had like 6 or 7 set points on Medvedev.
Wow.
Medvedev has not looked great, I would say, in a while now. He hasn't. When I'm saying great, he hasn't looked like the Medvedev of old, the guy who was a top 3 player. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that he eats Khachanov for breakfast, so I don't know how much to take out of that in either direction.
Yeah.
So I think 4.5. Four. I think I like 4.
I like Khachanov
I think I
at
might
plus
rather
4.5.
take the money line at like plus 425. That sounds pretty good to me. I think there's some small chance Khachanov actually wins this. I don't think it's 50.
No, Khachanov is plus 300. Medvedev is minus 425 because the book takes 10%.
Right. Yeah. See, this is yeah. I may end up staying. This is why I have to stay away from so much, is because the book just takes too much on these. Like,
yeah,
I think the value is all on Khachanov here if there's any of it.
I agree. I think I would take the plus 4.5. I haven't seen enough from Medvedev to really instill that much confidence. And Khachanov, that win against Draper was solid. Like, I know we don't like Draper too much. We're not too high on him, but he was dominating him from the baseline, and he wasn't missing. He was hitting the forehand pretty well. So I don't know. I mean, the fact that it's 2 Russian guys, with I don't know if Khachanov really has that little brother, big brother thing with Medvedev, kind of like a Wawrinka has with Federer, or, some of the Spanish guys have with Nadal. I don't think that's a factor here. Right.
No, I don't think so either. Yeah, I think I'll probably stay away because I'm a baby. But if there's value here, it's on Khachanov.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
There's no value on Medvedev in my mind.
Mm-hmm. All right,
Sinner Kokkinakis tonight.
Yeah.
That is going to be interesting. The more I look at this, the more I like Kokkinakis. I believe Kokkinakis might even be from Adelaide. Like he is. Did he win Adelaide 2 last year?
He did. Yeah, he's Adelaide 2. But there's something to be said about someone having success in a place, even if he's not playing that well.
Also, if it's his hometown, right? And
right.
Kokkinakis is a guy who he seems to really like the energy, and he kind of needs that.
Does. It's a night match.
Yeah, I mean, the places he's done well at are Adelaide and Miami. He beat Federer many years ago. Other than that, he hasn't done much for his career. So, I might take him in any party cities. So, Adelaide, Miami, maybe Madrid, maybe Umag. He plays Umag. I might start betting Kokkinakis based on how many parties are available in the city he's playing in. But
yeah, I might sprinkle a little bit on the money line here.
What is the money line here?
Money line here.
It may not be as favorable as I originally wanted to, and then I was not as encouraged.
Plus 285.
That's not bad. That's something.
Yeah. It's the spread went from plus 4.5 to or minus 4.5 for Sinner to minus 3.5.
Which is crazy. You don't see the tennis spreads move a full game.
Although I did see that Safalun and Shapovalov.
That was crazy. That went from 4 to 2.
It did, yeah. I was shocked.
Safalun plus 2.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Which means that the money was flying in on the Safalun, by the way. So
yeah.
Yeah, Manny, we're not wrong. Everybody was with you there.
I mean, this is not the NFL. This is tennis in the first week of the season at 250. I mean,
yeah,
it's crazy.
It's also scary because that means that there's a lot more degenerates out there like us, which is not good for society. I have some concerns about humanity now, but
yeah, that's true.
I already had some concerns, but now I have some additional concerns.
Yeah. All right. How about the Nishioka Popyrin?
Oh, I love Nishioka here.
Yes, me too.
Love him. 100%. That line should be out. The only thing that's a little scary here is Popyrin's at home.
Yeah, but he's had his run, right? He's beaten. He beat FAA. He made it through the qualifying first. He beat FAA, then he beat Giron.
And this should be this should be a matchup that Nishioka should like. I think he should be able to force Popyrin, a guy who will give you errors in Popyrin. I think there's a good chance Nishioka is able to just hit the loopy forehand and watch Popyrin make errors and win the match that way.
And get frustrated.
Yeah.
And yeah. Right. Yeah. I mean, the line is minus 165 for Nishioka, plus 130 for Popyrin. And and the spread is -1.5. I think that's where you go. -1.5 Nishioka.
Yeah, I mean, I might even. Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
I think that has more value.
1.5 is pretty good. Ironically, with Popyrin serve, I'd be way more worried about 2.5 or 3. I 1.5 scares me a lot less.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Nishioka is a good play there.
How about this draw, man? The bottom half of that draw, it's actually not horrendous for a 250, but given the excitement coming into week 1,
Yeah, Rublev.
That bottom half looks a lot worse now.
Yeah.
But between Sinner, Kokkinakis, Korda, Nishioka, and Popyrin, who do you like to make the final?
Well, yeah, that's a good question.
I might take Nishioka.
Nishioka to make a final. Korda actually played a good match against RBA. And he's been looking pretty good.
And he played a good second set against Murray.
He did.
I
mean, it depends on the winner of this Kokkinakis Sinner match. I think that's what will sway me one way or another.
What about Kokkinakis making another Adelaide run?
I don't think so. Maybe Adelaide 2, not Adelaide 1.
Adelaide 1 is too difficult, right? He's got to wait for
he's got to wait for number 2.
Adelaide tournament.
Right.
They really should have Adelaide 1 and Adelaide 2 play off like the Saturday before the Australian Open as like an EXO. Like how they have Arthur Ashe Kids Day, they can have Australian Kids Day and then have the Adelaide Championship match.
I mean, why are you calling it Adelaide 1 and Adelaide 2? It's like Adelaide piss and Adelaide shit. Because that's what number 1 and number 2 is, like, right?
At least that'd be more entertaining. At least you would remember who won which one.
Right, exactly. It's like the Pokemon colors. You know, remember blue version and yellow version? Like you couldn't come out with
I also want to see if the trophy's the same. I need to get some trophy pics from Adelaide. I want to see if they're the same trophy. Like
oh man, it's funny. But I gotta see the result tonight. I think if Sinner beats Kokkinakis handily, you got to go with him to make a final. Like if he's, really sharp.
I also think ironically, like this is probably the toughest match for Sinner in the bottom half.
Well, maybe against Korda, but yes.
Yeah, well, but I don't know, like style wise, right? Like that's a tough match for Sinner tonight. You got to go, you got to play an annoying guy to play with the serve forehand combo in his hometown with a crowd that's going to back him because he loves that crowd and that crowd loves him.
Yeah. Right.
That's going to be a tough.
That's tough
tonight for Sinner.
That's true.
In a lot of ways, I think. Yeah, ironically, I think actually,
because if
is kind of fun, but I think Korda is an easier matchup for Sinner. I don't know.
Oh, it's If Nishioka plays Korda, I think he will trouble him. I think that's a good matchup for Nishioka. I believe Nishioka beat Korda in Washington last year.
Yes, I'm pretty sure you're right.
Right? It was like that rain delayed match that so that will be very interesting. I think if Sinner plays Nishioka and he's sharp going into that semi, I think he would win that. But yeah, that's the
matchups here are interesting, right? There are a lot of fun matchups in this bottom half.
It is, and then the top half is just stacked.
Yeah.
It's just very top heavy. And if we can get Novak Medvedev, first week of the season, I mean, I'll sign up for that any day.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. That's one of my favorite. I mean, that's in my top 3 to 4 favorite matchups right now on the tour. I love anytime Djokovic plays Medvedev. Both those guys really get up for that match. Like they played at one of the late season tournaments last year, and they both really got up for it.
Yeah, it was like Astana.
It was one where Medvedev hurt himself. I can't remember which tournament it was. It was the final, and obviously Medvedev got hurt. But
it really feel like
playing
he hurt
great
himself,
up until then.
Yeah, it was kind of the shocking retirement, but the first 2 sets were just out of this world. I mean, it was insane. So if we can get
like those guys, that's a fun matchup to watch. Not just because of the quality, but also the tactics and the styles. It's just really, really cool matchup.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we move on to Pune.
Let's move on to United Cup.
We'll do United Cup for a few minutes.
Yeah, so we're into the semis now. I mean, we're not going to go over all these matches, but we're going to go over those big men's matches that are coming up. Hurkacz and Fritz. I think that's an interesting match. I want to see if the line is up. It might be. It is up. So what do you think the line is? But only money line is up. I don't see any game spread.
I'm gonna guess it's something like Fritz minus 130 or 140.
You got it on the dot. It's minus 130 for Fritz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and I think I would bet Fritz at that. Like, I like Fritz, man. I like the guy. He's making a lot of progress.
He is. The loss against Norrie yesterday wasn't great. Norrie is just talent-wise so much worse than Fritz. He's just a calmer, cooler customer. Fritz gets very.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the question is, are we got worried about that loss? I'm not. I don't get too worried about that loss. I feel like Norrie's a guy who almost everybody's going to lose to 3 out of 10 times. Just because of the way, because he's such a cool customer and he makes you beat him.
Probably the only guy that doesn't happen to is Novak.
No, yeah, and that's why Novak's on a different level, right? But I mean, yeah.
And Nadal, when he's obviously playing his best, but
but that's the point, right? If any of these guys are playing their best, they're going to beat Norrie. But you 3 out of 10 times you're going to come out with your C game, and it's going to be really hard to beat Norrie.
He even took out Alcaraz in Cincinnati last year.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So, yeah, I think so. I still like Fritz. What's the over under there?
It's not out yet.
Not out yet.
I don't see it on Win. Let me see if I can find it on another site. I would say it's probably like 22.5.
Oh, I would think it'd be more. 22 is kind of the neutral for tennis. I would think you're going to see like a 24 plus. I mean, I actually think if it's anything 23 or less, I would be tempted to I don't see anything.
I mean, Hurkacz is not a good returner, but Fritz is a pretty good returner.
Right, but in that case, so how does Hurkacz win this match?
He's got to win 2 tie breaks. Or it's going to be a 7-5. He can maybe sneak in a break where Fritz makes a few forehand errors.
Yeah.
Right. But that's really it. I don't like Hurkacz is a solid top 15 player, no doubt, but I don't see how
it's a really tough match for Hurkacz to win because I don't see him putting a lot of pressure on the Fritz serve. Mm-hmm. I do think Fritz will get into several Hurkacz service games. Mm-hmm. And I think he only needs probably 1 break to win a set. But I mean, this could go either way. I don't think it's going to be tight. This is it's going to be a close match. I like Fritz in a tight match, but I think he's going to get more chances.
I probably take Fritz on the money line here if it stays at minus 130.
Yeah.
And just maybe not even think about the spread and all that.
The other thing I found is that usually the spread, the book takes more. Like usually in terms of if you want to limit the book's edge, a lot of times the money line is the way to go. And I'll be looking at the over potentially here too. If I can get an over of anything over 22 or anything under 23, I'd probably hit the over here.
Hit the over. Yeah, as the match is on Saturday, the line, the more specific lines are not out yet.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, interesting matchup. I actually like USA at minus 210 to win the tie. As I think they have a big edge in singles.
I mean, as I look at this, right? Like, well, it's really interesting because Iga's a huge edge over Pegula, right?
Right, but Tiafoe's obviously going to beat that guy.
Actually, but Tiafoe's a bigger edge over Michalski.
Right, so that's 1-1. Then Fritz beats Hurkacz. That's 2-1.
That to me is a little more of a toss-up, right? But then Key should beat Lynette, and that's a pretty clear. In my mind, this is 2-1, a pretty clear edge to the USA.
Right, and then the doubles. I mean, obviously Poland has an edge, but like that's not out with the no ad scoring and the 10-point tiebreaker. Like that.
Yeah, I hate the But see, USA is a favorite here, minus 210. I think the value here is on the US because I think
Yes.
the only way Poland wins this, I don't see either Lynette or
Pagula.
Michalski
No,
winning.
Michalski winning, right?
So then Poland needs to win Iga, which is probably going to happen.
Right.
But then needs to win Hurkacz and the mixed.
And then Fritz is obviously a favorite against Hurkacz. So
right. So I think I think this should be more like 3-1 in favor of the US. I think there's thin, annoying minus 210 value here on the USA.
I agree. And I'd only take that if I could parlay it with Greece and Italy, but I just think, I mean, I don't know. See, the thing is, like, there's one good match in that tie, and every other match is terrible. Sakari's Trevisan is horrible. Pervolarakis against Musetti is terrible. I haven't even heard of these two ladies, and I mean,
I don't know. So I'm gonna have a hard time betting this one because I see this as so day one is 1-1, and then you've got Tsitsipas
and Berrettini. I mean, obviously that's must-see TV. That's a great matchup, but
it is. And I think Berrettini's a pretty good chance there, actually.
I do. I think so too. What's your take on the line? The line is up.
I'm gonna guess it's Tsitsipas at like a minus 150 or a minus 160, but I would take
you got it spot on, minus 150. That's crazy.
Yeah. I'm doing pretty well with that.
You are. Guess jeez. It's like not even like 10 points. You're like right on the money.
but I think I like Berrettini there. I think
plus 120.
I think this is closer to a coin flip. Tsitsipas is the better player, but on a medium hard court, I think I like Berrettini here.
You know me.
At least it's a coin flip.
You know me with Berrettini, though. I think he has the edge with the serve. I think he's hitting the forehand better than Tsitsipas in the 3 matches I've seen from them. Berrettini against Ruud was seriously impressive. I think that's probably the best performance of the first week of the season so far to me. So,
Tsitsipas. What's concerning to me here is not concerning, but if Tsitsipas is not a great returner, Berrettini is a good server. On a medium to maybe slightly fast hard court, I think that I don't see Tsitsipas making a whole ton of inroads into Berrettini's serve. On the other hand, I get the feeling that Berrettini, I haven't seen the stats on this, but I get the feeling how he's probably a guy who breaks more often than his receiving points won percentage would suggest. So for me, the underlying statistic when I look at how good of a player is on his return games is usually receiving points won or percentage of receiving points won.
Right.
I get the feeling that Berrettini is more of I'm going to give up 3 holds at love and try for 1 break, and try to make an inroad into one or 2 service games and get the break once or twice. And I feel like he's pretty good at it, getting into like a 30-all game and then converting. I'd like to, like I said, I haven't seen the stats on that. I don't know that for a fact, but
that's what it seems like when you watch his matches. That's true because he's opportunistic.
Yeah.
And what I've actually seen, I've been most impressed by him is his improvement on the backhand. Like he's been actually hitting over more backhands, and I saw him like hit a couple nice backhand down the lines, like on big points, which surprised me.
Yeah, so that is good to see from him because it's always been a weakness.
Yeah.
I mean, look, if I'm betting this match without a line, I'm betting it Tsitsipas, but I think because you can get Berrettini at the plus money, I think that to me pushes me to take Berrettini on the money line.
I take Berrettini on the money line at plus money, and I take him if I bet this match blindly at this point based on where their games are at. That's just the way I see it. But I'm always high on Berrettini, and I'm not the biggest Tsitsipas fan. So I don't know if you guys should be taking advice from me on this, but I mean, from what I've seen, though, I've been impressed with Berrettini so far, and I'm being pretty objective about
But
it.
even that being said, I think objectively this is a really tough tie to bet because
Yes.
so that's the fun match. But as I look, like I have no idea how to look at the last two matches on my list on either the mixed or the women's there.
Me neither.
No idea what that looks like.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting. Let's head over to
Pune.
Pune. At least it's
the
not
weaker of
Pune
the 250 is amazing, right? How like it really does feel like I heard this on another podcast, but it really does feel like a bunch of guys got lost. Like they went to the wrong town, like the airplane like ran out of gas or something, and landed in Pune, and like
emergency landing in Pune.
Or they all couldn't get into Adelaide, or they couldn't get to Australia for some reason. They all just decided, like, hey, like, let's meet up in Pune and play like a tournament. And you know, we got enough guys. Let's put some points and some money on it. Maybe some people will come watch. Like, because this draw is just so much weaker, right? I mean, what seed would Cilic be? Would Cilic even be seeded if he's playing in Adelaide?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so. And he's the number one seed here. So
yeah. That being said, I didn't see much value in the previous weeks or previous days in this tournament, but today I actually see some value.
Yeah, I see value. So the value I see is on those first two matches. So Cilic is only a minus 250 against Griekspoor. Which to me, Cilic is a better player by pretty big margin.
Mm-hmm.
He should win that more than he's only got to win that 71% of the time to be profitable. I think he does win that. I think he beats Griekspoor more than 71% of the time, even in a 250.
I agree with you. Absolutely. Well, Cilic takes every match seriously, right? He
does. Cilic takes every match seriously, and he I think he looked pretty good. Well, he looked okay. I don't remember what happened in round one, but I don't think he looked terrible. It
was a 3-set match. He won 6-1
over Baena, over RCB. RCB is a lot of balls on hard. That's not a great result. 6-1 in the third looks a little better, but this is more a comment on Griekspoor. Griekspoor was really struggling to end the season. I think he lost a bunch of matches in a row to end the season. He's just not a guy who Griekspoor was like 4-11 or something after the US Open. And that's against mostly weaker competition, mostly guys ranked between like 50 and 100. This is a step up. Mm-hmm. I definitely like Cilic here at minus 250.
Absolutely.
And then I like Karatsev. Specifically, I took the first set money line.
What was your rationale behind that? I took him on the actual money line. I actually parlayed these 4 matches.
So I only parlayed the top 2. I'm a little more worried with the bottom 2.
Okay.
But I can see, I don't, but I think Martinez is a clay guy. He's playing a little better on hard in the past few months, but he's really primarily a clay guy. And Karatsev, in my mind, he should not lose this match to Pedro. I mean, Karatsev's a little out there sometimes. Is a little tough to bet. So it's a little scary. But I'm gonna ride Karatsev and I'll ride Cilic. I mean,
Cilic is the one I feel best about. Karatsev hits big baseline shots, right? So Pedro is going to be running corner to corner. As long as Karatsev doesn't just dump everything in the net or out and kind of plays disciplined tennis, like there's no reason.
And that's the concern, right?
Pedro is not going to be.
That's the concern. You're right. Pedro does not win. There's no road for Pedro to win this match. The road for Pedro to win this match is for Karatsev to lose. Right.
And for someone that doesn't put that much pressure, Karatsev should not be missing those balls, right?
No, he should not be. This should be Martinez's serve is not spectacular. This should be Karatsev is the better player here on hard courts by a pretty good margin. This should be Karatsev.
Absolutely. And the line I think is
I saw it at minus 185, which is not bad.
Minus 195. That's what it is.
Yeah, I took the first set money line at minus 170. Karatsev has played better in first sets than he has in matches, and Pedro's played worse in first sets than he has in matches, I believe, over the past, call it 3 or 4 months. So that was my driver there.
Karatsev beat Van Riethoven 6-6 in the last round. So he did win the first set, but it was tight.
Yeah. But yeah, I think Pedro's lost. It might be that Pedro's lost like something like 9 out of 10 of his last first sets or something.
Interesting. I mean, he did lose the first set to Baez in the last round.
Which, I mean, I'm surprised. I don't know that was a match that I didn't know how to bet because those are both guys who play way better on clay.
Yeah. I haven't seen too much of
Although
Pune.
Baez had a nice little run. I don't know what's happened in the past 3 to 4 months with Baez.
It's just a lot of hardcore tournaments. And since he did so well on the clay, his ranking is high. So he's getting into all these like 250s and 500s on the main tour.
Yeah.
So I think that's why.
But yeah, Pedro is 2-13 in his last 15 first sets.
Interesting.
That's
a great stat.
Yeah, I mean, I just looked it up now, but when I was betting it, that's what I was looking at. Yeah, he's lost, and some first sets into like he lost the first set to he lost to Christopher Eubanks in straights at the U.S. Open. I mean, on hard, he's just not that good of a player, right? Like this is
what's the court speed like over there?
I think this is I actually have somewhere saved like the court speed of every court. I don't have that memorized. I think it's somewhere around average.
It's average. Okay.
Yeah, I want to say it's average to slightly fast. And I had heard that. I don't know what Pune is actually. That's Adelaide. I'm not sure what Pune is.
Is it an indoor court?
It's an outdoor. It's an outdoor hard, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's an outdoor court. Okay.
Yeah. But I am not sure about the speed of Pune now that you bring it up.
Mm-hmm.
I do have this saved somewhere, but I did not look up the Pune court speed before this match. I felt pretty good about the match regardless of that.
Yeah. How about Botic and Marterer?
Yeah, I mean, this is a match where if it wasn't week 1, I would probably bet it. It's just this is only the second match of the season for Botic, right? So that's the only thing that's really preventing me from taking Botic here.
Yeah, he's just the better player. It really comes down to that. I don't know. I mean, Marterer did have a 6-2 win against Gere is pretty good.
And he qualified, so he's been on the courts for longer, which I think is. I'm not sure if that's an advantage or not at this stage. We're a couple rounds in now, so maybe four rounds is a little bit extra work on the body. Granted, there's been plenty of off days in there.
Yeah, 3 sets against
Emer, one of our favorite guys.
But it's Elias,
it's Elias. Yes, it's the worst.
Which is worse. The worst. Yeah. Yeah. So wow, Pedro also lost a first set to Ramanathan.
Right. That's what prompted me to look into the first set line on Karatsev.
That's a very good bet. I like that bet. I do. That's nice. But I just think Van de Zandschulp is just a better tennis player.
He is the better tennis player,
and
the line also reflects that.
Yeah. I mean, what I did for this is I just parlayed Karatsev, Cilic, Botic, and Bonzi. And
so you like Bonzi over Krajinovic? I do. This is actually a really interesting match here because Bonzi is the favorite. Which really surprised me at first, but then I ended up staying away from Bonzi Krajinovic. I looked at this one for a while. I wanted to bet this because I think it's an interesting matchup, but I thought the line was pretty well set here, and then that's what made me shy away.
It is a well set line. I didn't like Krajinovic's 3-set win against Nagal. I think that's not
good. Going 3 sets with Sumit is not not good.
That's alarming.
Yeah.
I know Nagal took a set off Roger at the U.S. Open. We're not going to go off of that. I just think Krajinovic is a very talented player, but he doesn't compete very hard. I think he
doesn't. I agree. I agree with that take.
And I think like in a 250 event, kind of, in a place probably he's not that comfortable in, when it's like, I just feel like he might not get up for it.
I also haven't seen. I did not see the Bonzi Ruusuvuori match. So Bonzi beat Ruusuvuori in straights. I did
That's a
not
solid
see that
win.
match.
That's a solid win.
Ruusuvuori, we've talked about this. Ruusuvuori being one of my favorite guys to bet the under on because sometimes he goes off the rails. I don't know if that 6-1. I don't know what that 6-1 set looked like, and so I didn't see anything. I didn't get the chance to really look into that match and read about it.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure if that was Bonzi playing well, or if that was Krajinovic going off the rails, or not Krajinovic, or if that was Ruusuvuori going off the rails.
What was the score?
1-6. So obviously the second set's a tiebreak set. Bonzi plays a lot of tiebreaks, so that's not surprising. I couldn't find anything here where I didn't think the line was well set on Bonzi Krajinovic, but I think it's a fun match to bet.
It is.
And I think if you're gonna bet it, I think you're going the right way with it.
They're close in the rankings. Yeah, I mean, I don't know who did. Krajinovic, he beat Michael Moe, but that was also a 3-set match as well.
Immo's another challenger level player.
And
Bonzi beat Sang,
way better than.
But Sang's a clay guy, really, primarily a clay guy, not really a hardcourt guy. So that's again the trouble here in week one is the only win here that looks good is Bonzi beating Ruusuvuori. And had I seen the first set of that match, I'd have probably more of an educated opinion, and maybe I would have bet Bonzi, but I'm a little.
Yeah. If you're not getting plus money, I mean, I just added it to a parlay. So if I get to that point where I get the other three right, I'll be excited.
Yeah.
So, but I wonder if they have a head-to-head.
I don't think they do. I may have actually looked this up. I spent some time actually looking into this match. Like, I really wanted to bet this. Because I was looking, I really love the Cilic minus 250, but I hate the minus 250. It's just so minus 250 is just like so lame.
Yeah, it's lame.
That I needed something to like increase my action and excitement, so I put in the Karatsev, and I found the Martinez stat not being able to win first sets, so that drove me in that direction. But
are you staying up for these matches?
I'm staying off of Marterer VDZ just because.
No, are you staying up? Are you?
These matches like 5 a.m. I have a job. I have to be in an office at 9. Actually, I have to go to the office tomorrow. So this is probably not. This is dangerous. This may get me fired if enough people watch this podcast. But this may be a match that because I work from home Thursday, Friday, I may have this. This may happen to end up in the background.
Okay, all right.
While I'm working.
Don't
by
get
accident.
fired.
Somebody might log into his meeting and see this computer background and see some tennis images and be confused to what it is.
If you get fired over Novak versus Rafa, okay, but don't get fired over some 250 in Pune. Right?
Not even the good 250. The 250 for people who got lost.
Yeah, exactly. Well, as we said in our intro in the first podcast, like we don't only get excited for like slams and masters. We get excited for this crap.
for 250 for week 250s.
Week 250s, like we're all over it. So tennis.
I'm really surprised. I'm surprised that they wouldn't. I guess they all have to be hard because the Australian's hard, so people want to get hardcore practice, but I'm surprised that they wouldn't have they wouldn't make this a clay event to try to draw some of the clay guys who just want to rack up clay points.
Yeah. I guess
just to try to draw somebody, because like nobody's playing this event. Like it's
I'm sure in India they don't want to give it up, right? And then plus the weather's warm there all year long, right? So
I'm sure Pune wants to have the tournament. It's just like it's such a crappy spot in the calendar for them to have it.
It is. It is a crappy spot. It is.
Which I guess brings up and it's probably not a topic for now, but it's this is in my mind, this is a problem with the ATP calendar. Like what are they doing here? Like why?
Yeah.
Like they can't better organize the calendar and I guess they just have too many events and I think there's just too many tournaments, but this is kind of silly.
None of these events want to sacrifice anything. Huh?
Sousa won this last year. Is that what we're looking at? Sousa is the defending champ.
Yeah, João Sousa.
And he didn't qualify this year because his ranking's not high enough.
Yep.
They couldn't give him like a wild card. He's the defending champ.
Let me see. Did he qualify? Let me look at the draw again.
I don't think he's in. I don't think he's in the draw at all. Maybe I don't know if he didn't sign up or if he didn't like.
Is he hurt?
Maybe.
Is he in qualifying? No, he's not. Wow. Defending champion is not even in there.
And he didn't go play Adelaide.
Is he in Adelaide?
No, he's not. What is his rank? What is Seuss's rank?
Well, it will be 250 points less after this week.
João Sousa, not João Sousa. 82. Okay, so he could have gotten in if he wanted. He just didn't sign up.
He just didn't sign up, I guess. Yeah.
That's just sad. Like he did not take the chance to defend his title.
Yeah, the guy's a consummate professional, though. I mean, he is.
I mean, as much as we're making fun of him, look, it's an accomplishment to win an ATP 250.
It is.
Like, if you're somebody who's not a top 10 ranked player, it's an accomplishment, and like
he has 4 titles.
Yeah, good on him. I mean, good career. I mean, like surprising career, right? Some of these guys rack up titles, and you're like you don't even think about it, like. But yeah,
I remember he played someone later in the year. I think like maybe was it in like Hamburg or something, and he gave a top guy like a run for his money.
Might have been Alcaraz.
Could have been. No, that was another guy. I don't remember. Let me see his activity.
Nori? At the US. Oh no, that was straight sets.
Let's go. Oof, a lot of like easy losses too.
Oh, Rude. There
yeah,
you
it was
go.
Rude in Geneva. Yeah, it was 7-6 in the third.
Yeah.
So and that's a great result, like 7-6 in the third to Rude on a clay court.
And a final. That's a final. That's a final at 250.
That's a great.
There's some pretty good wins in there. I mean, Andujar on clay is not a joke. Gasquet is. I mean, that's Gasquet. That's another guy who's still hanging in there, professional man.
Yeah, definitely.
Anyways, I think we're good to close.
Yeah, we're going off on a tangent.
Let's start wandering off into João Sousa's career.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's time to
kill the podcast
to end it.
Everyone, thanks for logging in.
Thanks for listening. Keep following the Twitter. Obviously, we will keep posting our best bets of the day. Hopefully, we continue on this good roll. I mean, we've been doing pretty well. So. Not on the parlays, but on the individual bets, we've been.
Yep. So good luck and good luck, good betting, and until next time, we'll see you. Let's see you later.
All right. Peace out, guys.